Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this Let's Play of Planesscape Torment. This is actually one of my favorite games. It's an RPG game based on the Advanced Dungeons and Dragons universe. I'm sure there are lots of examples of other games within that universe. I'm not sure, I don't really remember I think Baldur's Gate is one such example. There's Icewind Dale. Baldur's Gate, Icewind Dale. In fact, this game uses the same engine as Baldur's Gate. It uses the Infinity engine, developed by, I think, BioWare, and it was modified so that in order to be used for Planesscape Torment as well. Now, this game is really old. This was released in 1999, at least old by, current standards. I mean, why, you might be asking me, dude, why are you playing a game, this game in 2014, and especially when there are lots of other walkthroughs and let's plays already available there. The reason why is because I just really like this game. I think it deserves attention, and it's very underrated, and I really hope for more games like this to be produced. In fact, the developers of this game are currently working on another one. I'm not sure if it's going to be an exact sequel, or maybe perhaps using the same mechanics and graphic style, etc. It's called Tides of Numenera, or something like that. It is currently in development, and I'm very excited about this. In fact, I might do a series on that game when it comes out. So in preparation for that, I will start with this game right here, Planesscape Torment, and it's going to be really exciting. Black Isle Studios have actually released lots of similar RPG games during their time, and alright, so let's jump right in. There isn't much to say here. I mean, for one thing, this game doesn't really hold your hand. You are expected to know all these things, or you're expected to read the manual. The manual has a little bit of information, but in fact, most of my experience with this game came from trial and error. I produced multiple characters. There isn't a lot of customization, to be honest. You can't customize too much in this game, which is something that I actually like. I prefer a lot of customization, but this game doesn't really have that too much. You start with this character creation screen. You have 21 character points, and you can invest in these intelligence, strength, wisdom, constitution, charisma, dexterity. Strength is really what your strength is. It's typical strength stats. It affects your melee attacks, makes them more damaging and more accurate, and allows you to carry more stuff. Your wisdom will allow you to gain more experience faster, and it will help you recover memories, etc. It actually gives you more dialogue options. And here's one thing: this game has a lot of focus on dialogue, with the NPCs and the quests and stuff like that. And I think the primary characteristics that affect dialogue options are intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. These will give you more dialogue options if they are really high. Dexterity can sometimes give you a few things you can do. Like, there's certain things you can do with the NPC that might involve dexterity. Like, you can be stealthy, you can try to do something without them noticing. In that case, dexterity is actually very useful. But in this case, I'm gonna focus mostly on intelligence and wisdom, because I'm gonna be playing a mage character. He's gonna be a wizard. And a mage character, I think, eventually you will gain access to a spell called Friends. When you cast Friends, this spell will give you like a huge boost to your charisma, and you can cast that spell multiple times. You can pretty much give yourself 25 charisma right away using that spell. So if you're playing a wizard, you don't really need charisma. Even though we actually start the game as a fighter, which is the normal warrior class. And the fighter, he's not going to have access to that spell. So as soon as we create this character, we're going to try to go for a mage class as soon as possible. We want to leave the mortuary and go after the person who will train you to become a mage as soon as we can. We're going to increase constitution as well. Actually, we're going to reduce them just a little bit and go for dexterity, yes. You see there's an indicator on the left which says your constitution is above average. And if it's above average, I think that is a safe place to be. Although I do want to increase this later in the game, because it will increase your hit points as well. And you need a lot of hit points in this game, by the way, especially if you are in solo areas and stuff like that. But if you're playing as a wizard, you can pretty much shoot spells from a distance, and you can let your other characters tank for you. You don't need a lot of strength. Obviously, I don't really care about strength. I just want my character to have a huge amount of experience, gain levels really fast. Wisdom is probably the most important thing if you're playing that way. So yeah, we can increase intelligence in the next level up, I suppose. Yeah, we should probably do that. Although if we increase in intelligence, we make it at 17, like it will give us a specialization bonus when we level up. So yeah, I think this is going to be my basic character. He's a little bit unbalanced, but I think it's a good place to start. There we go. Now you will notice that I have actually played this game before, so spoiler alert, I guess. there's going to be a lot of spoilers here and there. I will warn you whenever I'm about to say something that might spoil the game for you. Then again, if you're watching this Let's Play, you are probably already familiar with it. If you're not, be my guest.
Chief,
you're going to enjoy it,
okay?
I suppose.
You playing corpse or you putting the blinds on the dusties? I thought you were a deader for sure.
Alright, so this part actually has voice acting. There are some passages that have voice acting, others who don't. Alright, so who are you? This guy's name is Mort. He's the floating skull you start with. He's your very first companion, and he's a really cool guy. He's very funny. He has a lot of wisecracks, and he's actually one of my favorite characters in this game. He adds a lot of character. Whoever came up with this character is a genius. I mean, this guy, who would have thought a floating skull could be a really interesting character? And he can, because this guy's charm is all about his dialogue. He doesn't do much in combat. He's mostly just a tank, but the dialogue, he adds a lot of flavor to the game. I'm very surprised that there are actually people who play this game and they remove Mort from their party. He's like your best friend. He's like the guy you want to have a beer with, or have a drink with, and play some games with. If he was alive, if he wasn't a skull, that's the kind of guy he would be. So we're gonna be nice to him, I suppose. You can't remember your name? Well, next time you spend the night in this burg, go easy on the bub. Name's Mort. I'm trapped in here too. Trapped? Yeah, since you haven't had the time to get your legs yet. Here's the chant. I've tried all the doors and this room is locked. Tighter than a chastity belt. We're locked in where? What is this place? It's called the mortuary. It is a big black structure with all the architectural charm of a pregnant spider. Alright, the mortuary. It's a basic, the basic meaning of this is a place where the dead are kept, where they're prepared for burial or stuff like that. So, yeah, am I dead? Not from where I'm standing. You got scars aplenty though. Looks like some Burke painted you with a knife. All the more reason to give this place a laugh before whoever carved you up comes back to finish the job. Yeah, I'm not really sure if somebody actually did this to me, or and we ended up dead here or something. Yeah, scars. Let's discuss the scars. Well, the carvings on your chest aren't too bad, but the ones on your back, Mort pauses. Say, looks like you got a whole tattoo gallery on your back, Chief. Spells out something. Alright, so apparently somebody wrote stuff on my back. Let's take a look what they are. Looks like you come with directions. Mort clears his throat. Let's see, it starts with... I know you feel like you've been drinking a few kegs of Styx swash. Styx, by the way, is the from Greek mythology. It's the river. I'm not sure. It's the river of the dead or something like that. If you drink water from the Styx, you will lose your memory. I think that's how the myth goes. You need to center yourself. Among your possessions is a journal that has shed some light on the dark of the matter. Ferret can fill you in on the rest of the chant if he's not in the dead book already. Alright, so we need to focus on this journal thing and Ferret. Ferret, does it say anything else? Yes, there's a bit more. Do not lose the journal, or we'll be up the sticks again. And whatever you do, do not tell anyone who you are or what happens to you, or they'll put you on a quick pilgrimage to the crematorium. Do what I tell you, read the journal, and find Ferret. So this is going to be our main quest for this game. Do what I tell you. It's kind of a weird game. Who are you? I mean, whoever wrote this, I suppose, wants us to read the journal and find Ferret. No wonder my back hurts. There's a damn novel written there. As for the journal I'm supposed to have with me, was there one with me while I was lying here? No, you were stripped to the skins when you arrived here. Besides, looks like you got enough of a journal penned on your body. Alright, what about Ferret? Nobody I know. Then again, I don't know many people. Still, some Burks gotta know where to find Ferret once we get out of here. Burk, by the way, is, I think, it means dude or jerk or some person, they have their own specific curse words in this universe. So how do we get out of here? Well, all the doors are locked, so we'll need a key. Chances are one of the walking corpses in this room. Walking corpses? I suppose he means zombies. Yeah, the mortuary keepers use dead bodies as cheap labor. The corpses are dumb as stones, but they're harmless and won't attack you unless you attack first. Is there some other way I want to kill them? Yeah, I want to make my character lawful good as much as possible, because lawful good are actually very powerful in this game. There are certain items that will give you +1 constitution, or certain weapons you can only equip if you are lawful good. So lawful good characters are actually very powerful, and I want it to be like that. And the only way to be lawful good is to just basically be a mild-mannered person, try to obey the law. It's a little bit boring. The playstyle is boring, but I think there are certain dialogue options in the game that, if you choose, will make you extremely lawful. They will shift you towards the lawful alignment, a person who obeys the laws and does everything for the good of mankind and stuff like that. So I'm gonna go with this option. What, do you think it's going to hurt their feelings? They're dead. But if you want a bright side to this, if you kill them, they'll at least have rest before their keepers raise them. Alright. Okay, so he's telling you basically that you have to arm yourself. There's a scalpel in one of the shelves. We're going to have to search some of the shelves. And at the beginning of the game, you will get these tips. There are these white text over here, indicating that they're basically the alternative to a walkthrough. There's no, the tutorial, because there is no tutorial in this game. And one last thing, these corpses are slow as molasses. He's basically giving you like basic combat advice that if they start getting the edge on you, remember that you can run and they can't. Use it to keep some distance if you need to recover. Alright, so apparently these zombies are obviously very slow, so you can always just escape from them and they won't be able to hit us anymore, just in case we take too much damage, which is not going to be a problem because they're actually very weak. I mean, yeah, they're tough, they take a lot of hits to kill in this game, but they don't do a lot of damage, really. Not even to me. Alright, so we found the scalpel. It's a surgical tool, I think. Alright, so there's a triggered cutscene here. Alright, you found the scalpel. Now, go get those corpses, and don't worry, I'll stay back and provide valuable tactical advice. Maybe you could help me, Mort. I will be helping you. Good advice is hard to come by. I want you to attack the corpses with me, dude. I'm a romantic, not a soldier. I just get in the way. Alright, I want to be nice to him because I'm trying to be lawful good and stuff, so I will just ignore that offensive statement. Time to introduce these corpses to the second death. Alright, let's go. He can actually, you can still use him to fight. I mean, he was just complaining like he usually does, but he's actually a very good tank. Alright, so now that we have actually started and we've entered the phase where we're going to experience combat, let's go up over the basic menu option, these buttons here. Now you can rest. You cannot rest in this area. You need permission and stuff like that. There are many places you can rest in this game. Usually it means there are no NPCs, for example. No one is in the region. That's where you can rest. You can recover your HP completely. There's a mage spellbook and the priest scroll. There are two classes in this game that can cast spells, the mage and the priest. Now we will never be able to become a priest in this game, I believe. I've actually played through this, but you will eventually gain a character that has the priest abilities. You can add them to your party here. These are the party stats, by the way. Mage spellbook. Now you can become a mage, and the mage power is really cool. You have like all these spells you can cast. You have to remember them. I will discuss how to be a mage eventually, but this is the mage scroll. There's the map screen. There's a fog of war, of course, and eventually you will explore and uncover this, and it will remain fully explored. And these indicators here show you the labels for each region. There's a southwest preparation room. This is where we start the game, always. And there's also the, I believe, yeah, there's the options screen. I might want to fiddle around with these. And here's the thing, when you start playing this game, I highly recommend clicking this option, always run. It will make your characters run constantly, because if you remove this, you will constantly be required. If you want your characters to run, you will be forced to hold the shift key the entire time. I don't want that, really. I want them to run as much as possible, because this will reduce the game time considerably, and we don't want to spend a lot of time just running around, walking around everywhere. We want them to run. You see there, they're running automatically. Alright, so we have some bandages there.
I'm gone.
Interesting. And alright, and this game is really cool. It's very text intensive. It's like a novel trapped inside a book. It's like a novel trapped inside a game. And even if you can click on the environmental structures here, you can see these question mark displayed. These barrels contain a murky liquid. It smells like a cross between vinegar and formaldehyde. This device looks like some sort of sewing machine, arms with hooks, tubes, and metallic thread hanging from it. Yeah, so it looks like we woke up in this mortuary, which is basically where they prepare the dead or dead people and stuff like that, either to be buried
I'm
or
gone.
if they're well preserved, they can turn them into zombies used for cheap labor, I suppose. And you can click on all these, you can see all the descriptions, really awesome stuff here. It really adds to the atmosphere, especially if you are into these kinds of games. If you played, like, say, the Ultima series, you might like this sort of game. Even though it's very linear, actually. Alright, so we're going to examine this first corpse here, this zombie worker. This corpse stops and stares blankly at you as you approach. The number 782 is carved onto its forehead, and his lips have been stitched closed. The faint smell of formaldehyde emanates from blood. Alright, so it looks like, by the way, most of these workers here in this area, they have the same text, so I'm not going to be reading this again. I'm looking for a key. Do you happen to have one? Well, this is silly. I'm actually talking to a... I'm actually talking to a corpse. This looks like the lucky petitioner here, Chief. Look, he's got the key there in his hand. This corpse looks like the one with the key is holding it tightly in its left hand, its thumb and the forefinger locked around it in a death grip. It looks like you'll need to hack the corpse's hand off to free the key. Well, looks like we're gonna have to declare war on this thing. Alright, now I want Mort to take care of this dude because, alright, so he actually killed him in one hit. That is a critical hit there.
Alright.
Lovely. And we got the key.
Alright.
Alright, I'm still gonna try to kill these guys because, what? Okay, usually when you talk to these guys, you can, you will find like they have bandages on them and stuff like that. So what I'm gonna do, I'm actually gonna attack them just to get those bandages. Because why not? Alright, so we killed them. And there's one more. Now this might actually make me more aligned with Chaos, but it's only like a few guys. It's not gonna be a huge deal, I suppose. Alright, so there's nothing in here. There's nothing in here. I'm just gonna search this area. Want to loot as much as possible before we move on. Hey, there's this door here. Okay, so we need a key to go through there. We already have a key. How about this door? Alright, so this one needs a key as well. Alright, we're gonna move on. I think this is the one. Alright, it's actually the only one left, so there we go. And we're through. Alright, there's this triggered scenario here. Some advice, Chief. I keep it quiet from here on. No need to put any more corpses in the dead book than necessary, especially the Femmies. Plus, killing them might draw the caretakers here. Okay, so this is where the dialogue really starts to open up. I usually like to click all the dialogue options available because, actually, you know what? He's gonna tell us in a few more minutes. I'm just gonna leave it to unfold by itself. I don't think you mentioned it before. Who are these caretakers? They call themselves the Dustmen. You can't miss them. They have an obsession with the black and rigor mortis of the face. They're an adult bunch of ghoulish death worshippers. They believe everybody should die sooner or later. Now, if you're familiar with RPGs in general, these are like the quote-unquote necromancers of this universe. The Dustmen, they're like a faction in this game. And they pretty much behave like necromancers, except they actually have respect for the dead. And they have an actual philosophy behind their a philosophy and a political system behind them, and they're not as evil as necromancers usually are portrayed. They're actually they mostly use these dead people as workers, and they don't usually use the undead to attack other people. They're very peaceful, actually. These are probably the most peaceful necromancer-like or necromancer-ish faction in the game that I've ever seen. Yeah, I'm confused. Why do these Dustmen care if I escape? Weren't you listening? I said the Dusties believe everybody's gotta die sooner than better than later. You think the corpses you've seen here are happier in the dead book than out of it? Okay, this sounds a little bit intimidating. I'm not sure if it's really true. I think Mort doesn't really like these factions, like the Dustmen and stuff. Okay, the corpses I've seen here, where do they all come from? Death visits the plane every day, Chief. These shamblers are all that's left of these poor sods who sold their bodies to the caretakers after death. So apparently people die, and they have the option of selling their bodies to the Dustmen faction, I suppose. Okay, okay, this will repeat. If we click on this one, it will repeat what we said before. Before you said something about making sure I didn't kill any female corpses. Why? What, are you serious? Look, Chief, these dead shits are the last chance for a couple of hardy bashers like us. We need to be chivalrous. No hacking them up for keys. No lopping their limbs off. Things like that. Last chance. What are you talking about? Chief, they're dead. We're dead. See where I'm going, eh? Okay, I know what he's talking about. I think he wants to romance these female zombies, I guess. Sick bastard. Alright, Chief, we already got an opening line with these limping ladies. We've all died at least once. We'll have something to talk about. They'll appreciate men with our kind of death experience. Okay, so I think he's talking about like we will have an easy pickup line with these zombie chicks there. Alright. Wait, didn't you say before that I'm not dead? That's a good question. Well, alright, you might not be dead, but I am, and from where I'm standing, I wouldn't mind sharing a coffin with some of these fine, sinewy cadavers I see there. Mort starts clacking his teeth, as if in anticipation. Of course, the caretakers would have to part with them first, and that's not likely. Okay, so we discussed who are these caretakers and where they come from, and yeah, look, Chief, it's obvious you're still addled after your kiss with death, so I got 2 bits of advice for you. 1, if you got questions, ask me, alright? Okay. If you're half as forgetful as you seem to be, start writing stuff down. Whenever you come across something that might be important, jot it down so that you don't forget. If I had a journal I was supposed to have with me, I'd do that. Alright, looks like we're gonna start a new journal. I'll make a new one, okay? Use it to keep track of your movements. If you ever start to get cloudy on important things like who you are, or more importantly, who I am, use it to refresh your memory. Yeah, we're gonna have this journal, and I've actually postponed clicking on the journal option there.
Updated my journal.
Updated my journal. You heard that? Yeah. This indicates that from this point forward, whenever one of the dialogue options you choose are significant in the game world or for a quest, for example, you will hear Nameless One say updated my journal. And by the way, I just realized I haven't discussed what this game is about really. I mean, you start off as a guy who is nameless. You don't know who you are. You have lost your memory, and you cannot die. By the way, in this game, you can pretty much die as many times as you want, and it's not going to have much of an effect. In fact, sometimes there are certain areas, quests, and situations where you actually have to die in order to continue, and to discover something new. And yeah, so death here is really not the main is not really related to the difficulty. The difficulty is mostly about knowing what to do and when to do it. Alright, so we start off as a fighter. We're at level 3 with a 6,111 experience. Once we reach 8,000, we will reach level 4, I believe, fighter. Yeah, and this is the stat screen here. We start as a true neutral alignment. True neutral characters believe in maintaining the balance between law and chaos. They don't tip the scales between the two and tend to oppose anyone who does. So yeah, we're very... the true neutral is your starting position in alignment. I want to move on to lawful good. You could become chaotic evil or even lawful evil. I've never actually seen anyone who can manage to be lawful evil because, law and evil are generally opposing. But it is possible, and there are many factions and creatures in this game that are lawful evil, which is really, I think it's interesting, I suppose. It's really cool. A person who is evil but they obey the law, it's like a bureaucracy thing, I suppose. And you can be chaotic neutral, which are mostly the impulsive people, the madmen, the crazy persons, I guess, or the anarchists, perhaps. There's Mort himself is chaotic good. They aren't concerned with structure or order. They don't really care about the law, but they are individualists who tend toward performing acts of kindness. They're like good anarchists, I suppose. This is the faction button here, this faction indicator. A group of individuals who hold similar beliefs about the nature of the multiverse. Belief is power on the planes. If enough people believe in an idea, the idea may become reality. And that's another really cool mechanic about this universe, is that if enough people believe in something, that belief will manifest itself and become reality. And that's just an amazing thing. I really love. I wish more universes are based on this idea. In fact, a lot of the magic mechanics probably have to do with this. Alright, so he has no faction, and I have no faction either. This is the armor class, which indicates the lower this number, the harder it is for your enemies to hit you. Yeah, it means, I think the lower the armor class, it means the more fast you are, I suppose. I don't think this game has any armor mechanic in the way we are usually used to what armor means. Armor usually means that it will reduce incoming damage, but in this game, armor class, really, the lower it is, it means the faster you are, you can avoid enemy attacks. And I think that's how it works. And if you increase your dexterity, you will gain more armor class. So yeah, see this guy, he has 16 dexterity, and he has only 2 armor class. Yeah, that's because he has such a high dexterity. He can avoid enemy attacks more often. He has high evasion, if you will. Yeah, it's a weird mechanic. I think it's a little bit confusing, unnecessarily confusing, this armor class mechanic, but it works well for this game. And you just need to know that you want to reduce this as much as possible. And yeah, we have only 10 dexterity, and so this is not going to change anytime soon. But we do have a lot of wisdom, whereas Mort, he has barely enough wisdom. He's just average wisdom, above average intelligence, barely average strength, and his charisma is actually below average, which is kind of weird because he's a very charismatic character. He has a lot of cool things to say usually. These are your hit points, the current hit points, the maximum hit points. Yeah, I think we've covered the basics here. Now, if you want to go through the characters, details of your character in combat, you have like armor class bonuses, like armor class against slashing. So if somebody attacks Mort with a slashing weapon, Mort will have +2 armor class against that attack. So if somebody attacks him with a slashing weapon, this will be considered as 0 for that particular attack. And yeah, this works for him for all of the basic physical attacks, slashing, piercing, and missile. Most likely because he's a skull, he doesn't have any flesh, so he's not really injured by anything that will usually affect flesh. And he has a bunch of resistances. Holy crap, he has like 100% cold, and for both normal and magic cold. I don't know what's the difference really. He's pretty much almost immune to all of these basic physical attacks: slashing, crushing, piercing, and missile. Although crushing seems to be his basic weakness because he doesn't have an armor class bonus against crushing, which is understandable because he's a skull, he's a bone. And to hit accuracy, so yeah, this is THAC0 or THAC0, I think, I'm not sure. It indicates to hit accuracy, so he's at 19. I'm pretty sure there are people out there who are experts at these kind of things. They can tell you exactly what these stats mean, but I really don't know. And there's really no way for you to modify them effectively. Like, there's not a lot of weapons you can equip in this game, so yeah. I usually just ignore these unless I want to make sure that my character is improving properly. I think if you increase your strength stat, yeah, you will have more accurate attacks, so your THAC0 thingy will actually increase. And the number of attacks indicates how fast you are, so yeah, I think the lower this number, the faster your attacks will be. Yeah, if it's lower. Lower indicates if... I will discuss lower later, actually. I'm not going to discuss it right now. Saving throws, I have no idea what these are. I think they're like the roll of a dice or something. If you get a high roll, you can block certain attacks, spells, and stuff like that. I think that's how it works. There's weapon proficiencies, fist. Yeah, it depends on what kind of weapons you can equip. Of course, Mort cannot equip anything. He only has like teeth. And these, I'm gonna discuss these later, I guess. Well, some of the basics like the weight allowance, how much weight you can carry in kilograms. Armor class bonus, -2. I'm not sure what this means. Multiple adjustment reaction. Yeah, reaction indicates how favorably others will react towards you. If you have a very high charisma, you're gonna have a good reaction. My reaction is 0. Yeah, we have just average charisma. Nobody really cares. If I walk into a room, nobody really cares. Okay, and we actually have slightly faster attacks, surprisingly. Alright, let's move on to the inventory screen here. Now we by default, we have this fist. Default weapon for the Nameless one. Your fist is your default attack, and yeah, it's not very impressive. I want to equip something as soon as possible, so I'm just going to grab the scalpel and give it to him. This one deals 1 to 3 piercing damage. It's considered an edged weapon, so if you train yourself in edged weapons, you can use this weapon more effectively. And it is not usable by priest, apparently, which doesn't really matter because we are not going to be a priest in this game. So the damage is not really that great. I mean, we have 1 to 3 crushing damage here, and some piercing. It really depends on what kind of enemy you're going up against. So for example, if you're fighting against skeletons, your fist is actually more effective than the scalpel because Skeletons, they have a weakness against crushing because they're bones, obviously, but they're highly resistant to piercing weapons like the scalpel here. Whereas if you're going against zombies, zombies actually have fairly high resistance to crushing, I suppose. You might want to use the piercing on zombies. So we're gonna have a lot of zombies in the next few areas, and these are the bandages. If you want to heal yourself in this game, you have to right-click on one of these bandages, and you click use. This will use these bandages on the character who currently has them. So if I give these to Mort, I right-click and use, he will use these bandages for himself. And yeah, speaking of Mort, this is his default weapon, Mort's Bite. He can use his teeth to attack people. Proficiency, fist. This is considered a fist weapon. Don't ask. So yeah, apparently it's kind of funny that they consider this a fist. And he can actually equip other teeth, teeth weapons eventually. So yeah, this is his weakest attack, I guess. But eventually we come across more powerful teeth. Alright, so we can't carry a lot of weight. We have only 50 pounds. If we carry anything heavier, we will be unable to run, I think. We'll be forced to walk. And it's kind of weird. This skull dude, he has like... he can carry 90 pounds, whereas I only can carry 50 pounds. So he's actually stronger than me. That's kind of funny. And we have this eyeball. This is your eye. It looks like it's seen better days. Okay, spoiler alert. You can actually equip different eyes in this game. Yeah, your main character, Nameless one, he can equip eyes eventually in the game. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Okay, is there anything else we haven't seen yet? The journal screen. Yes, this is a very important screen. This is basically the encyclopedia for your for this game. You have the beasts. This will contain the details on every single NPC and PC that you meet in this game. There's a fair small amount of detail here. This one talks about Mort. You can pause the game and read them if you want. These are the basics. Yeah. So eventually we will meet more player characters, more people you can add into your party, and they will join you on your quest. These are the non-player characters. Obviously, the zombies. Yeah, so the zombie male and female, they both have the same entry here. You can read it if you want. It's really cool, actually. It increases your immersion, and I just love reading those things. Alright, so these are the beasts, the other characters you can meet. There's quests. Yeah, this game does not make any distinction between main quest and side quest. Like, we have been spoiled by, massive multiplayer online games and, all these new modern RPG games. They can make a differentiation. But in this game, all quests are just placed all together in this screen here. So these are going to be our main quests, actually. Find Farad. You can read that if you want. And find your missing journal. Alright, so these are going to be the main quest things. This is the actual journal. This is where all the events, all the things that whenever the Nameless one says updated my journal, something will change here. Like a new entry will be added, and you can refer back to it. It's like your own personal storyline, and you can read it. It's really cool to read, especially if you have forgotten certain things. If you want to keep track of what you have done previously, this might be a good place to go. Although eventually it's going to be huge. You're going to have to scroll through a lot of text to find what you're looking for. It would have been nice to have like a find feature or something, but then again, this is an old game. So yeah, we're done with the journal screen, and we're going to be referring to it multiple times eventually. And yeah, I've talked a lot. Yeah, I talk a lot, and there's going to be a lot of talking and reading in this game. So if this is not your kind of thing, you might not really enjoy. You might get bored, actually. But then again, I urge you to give this game a try, especially if you're like a mature player who enjoys playing for a good story and enjoys a good challenge. Like if you like puzzle games, I suppose you might enjoy this. Alright, so this has been a long episode, longer than I intended, and we will continue in the next episode and actually start playing the game. So I'll see you guys next time.